Rolling. There we are. What's happening, home service homies? Happy Wednesday night. Dan Plata, best damn bookkeeping home service happy hour podcast. Got a tall bush light, and I got Eric Emms in the house. How you doing, Eric?
I'm great, buddy. You know, you have the best podcast radio voice. Hearing you say that, you were born to be on the radio, brother.
You know how like when you hear yourself, you think you sound stupid?
Oh yeah.
I have people tell me like my voice is really deep and I don't notice it. Like it doesn't register, right? To me, I just sound like another idiot. But I get told that I've got to, the challenge is if my voice is good, which I'll take your word for it. Now I just got to learn how to say smart stuff. If I could just figure out how to say smart stuff, we'd have it made.
Well, that's a whole different game, but at least you're halfway there.
Yeah.
I can relate. Every time I go back and watch like a presentation or something, I'm always like, God, is that what I sound like?
Who is that guy up there? What's he He's dropping good information, but why does he sound so weird? Well, how the heck you doing these days? I had to just to catch the listeners up to speed. Eric and I had this scheduled for a while, but then those that have been following my Facebook saga know that I got hacked. I tried to restart. That got kicked off because I was impersonating my old self, which Facebook didn't like. And Eric and I had like coordinated this podcast on there. And then I reached out to him and I was like, Eric, I don't have us on the schedule. Like, I know we were like getting it figured out. And he's like, oh, well, it's this date. And then after that, I'm off for the summer. And I was just like, oh man, like I want to be off for the summer. Like, how do we just get off for the summer? But I'm glad we were able to make it happen here. This is actually, if my voice starts to go, this is my third podcast today. I've been laying them down because I scheduled the guy for tonight, not knowing that you were tonight, but it turned out he was in Spain. So we had to like move that to the morning so that it wasn't like in the middle of his night. And then I normally do like a midday radio show. So that was still going. So this is number 3 for me.
Look at you getting it done.
Just packing it all in, man. Just packing it all. That probably explains why I'm so darn thirsty tonight. That might be it.
It has something to do with it. I am shutting it down for the summer. I'm looking forward to that. Still doing some coaching and stuff, but for the most part, gonna lay pretty low this summer.
Is that a thing you've done in the past, or is it like this is the first time you're doing it?
This is the first time. We have 6 kids, and
holy moly! I'll stop complaining about trying to keep track of 3.
Yeah, right. Come on, that's junior varsity, buddy.
Yeah, you got zone defense covering zone defense now
for sure. But they're all adult kids. But our last 2 are graduating actually this week. And we're just kind of all in on just enjoying this last summer with them and just kind of laying low and family time and traveling. And so I'm really trying to prioritize that and clear my schedule as much as possible.
How do you have you can decide how personally you want to get this one, but how do you go about having 6 kids? Was that like something before you and your wife started having kids? You're like, I got a number in mind. It's 6. And she's like, my number was 6 too. We're going for it. Or was it just like well, I guess we have another one. Like, you didn't pull the goalie yet. I'm still taking shots. So
no, it's much simpler than that. We're a blended family. So we each came into this relationship with 3 kids, and hence the Brady Bunch, the 6 kids.
I got 2 kids that just showed up.
One of them just snuck out of bed. Well, hello there. You're supposed to be in bed, I think.
He says, you're supposed to be in bed, is what he said. Why aren't you in bed?
Do we need to read another story?
Yeah, we got to read a story. Some more Percy Jackson for you?
Yeah.
We're out. Reggie, go get some cough medicine, you goofball. Reggie, come here and say hi. This one's Danny. This one's Reggie.
Danny and Reggie.
They're off school now. School ended last week, and so they were just partying with Grandma for 3 days. And now they're all wound up. Did Grandma just give you like a bunch of Mountain Dew and candy bars or what?
No, but we ate pancakes.
With a bunch of syrup.
Sprinkles on
A lot of sprinkles.
And we also had whipped cream too. And we also both had a cookie. And we both had lemonade. I also took a 2-hour nap.
You took a 2-hour nap?
Yeah.
No wonder why you're not tired. You guys can go read stories in the hall if you want, but go to bed in like 30 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Why are you staring at it?
Later, skater. Good luck with bedtime tonight, brother.
Hey, shut my door, goofballs. It'll really be something when the 2-year-old crawls out of his crib and shows up here.
Whipped cream, syrup, lemonade, and a 2-hour nap. You're cooked.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long one. We'll all be partying all night.
Yeah.
So you're saying you got a blended family. How did that all come together? When did that all come together? Who contributed what?
Well, we each brought 3.
There you go. Even Steven.
We're the Brady Bunch.
There you go. How old were the kiddos when you merged forces?
The youngest were 4, and now they're the ones both graduating this week. So our oldest is 26, and our youngest are 18, and some in between there.
Yeah. What's your grandkiddo forecast? You got any grandkid? Is it like anything on the verge, or is that still
that's
ways out?
That's a ways out. Although my wife, she was ready for it. I'm like, let's just take a beat here.
Yeah,
get
take
them out
it
of the
easy
house
here. Yeah.
And go spend
Yeah,
some
we
time
get
in
these
Europe
kids out of the house before we start having to take care of our kids' kids.
For real. Let's just slow it down here a minute.
Oh yeah. It does. We call it graduating in our family. When you become a grandparent, that's when you've graduated.
Okay.
That's like it's like an honorary, degree type of thing.
Yeah.
But it definitely gets taken advantage of. Exhibit A, 3 days with grandma. There's a reason, like I can run my business from anywhere, but there's a reason I still live around Minneapolis, and it's because my in-laws are 10 minutes away.
Yep, for sure.
No substitute.
Huge help.
Did your kids disperse at all, or are they still kind of around home?
No, they're still around. Well, our oldest, when he graduated high school, he went to Europe, and that was 6 years ago. And I think since then he's been in the United States maybe a total of like 6 months. He's just a total.
Really?
He's a vagabond, man, and just all over the place.
That's cool.
But other than him, the rest of them are we've got one at Oregon State, and the others, they're all local.
Yeah, awesome. Are they entrepreneurial? Like, did they pick that up from you at all, or what are they all in?
What's crazy is not at all. None of them have any interest in anything to do with our business.
Yeah.
And I've met a lot of people in the home services industries over the years, and I've always tried to tell them, God, you guys could make a killing doing Christmas lights.
Mm-hmm.
No interest.
Really?
But I think as they get older, and I think like Caden, he's going to be a junior at Oregon State, and Calvin's going to U of O next year. I think once they kind of start seeing what's out there, they may change their tune a little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, you can either build somebody else's dream or you can build yours.
Yeah.
And so, but no, they don't have that fire.
I spent a decade in the corporate world, like 8 years. And really, I think to me, it was just that I didn't know, like I knew entrepreneurs and I knew small business owners, but I didn't know a path to do that. And I didn't have an idea to pursue to do that. Like I mowed lawns when I was a kid, but it didn't feel like a business. It felt like a way to make $20 and fill my car up with gas. Right. And so I never ran with it. And it wasn't until I was in the corporate world for a while and I was doing well. And it was like the realization I had that, man, it's just not about the money for me. Like it's about having an impact. And right now, like you said, I'm building somebody else's dream. And even if I get paid really well to build it, it doesn't feel right. And so it was a bit of a come to Jesus, and the opportunity presented itself. And that was the catalyst I needed to really even consider getting into small business and being a small business owner. Now I can't see myself going back. Like I could, but I
no,
wouldn't
you could. You're unemployable. We're unemployable, brother.
I mean, if they wouldn't be able to find me on Facebook anymore because that got taken down. So all the damning evidence is gone. But it just wouldn't be the same. Right? It just wouldn't be the same. And it would be interesting to see if they turn course and get that professional experience and go, oh yeah, I get it. Like the bureaucracy of working in the corporate world there's sex appeal to it for a little bit of like getting the big job and like the fancy office and stuff.
Right.
And I when I was in the corporate world, I was like internationally traveling, and that was so sexy for a little bit. Like in my mid-20s, I thought I was freaking a big deal. And I was like, yeah, I don't actually like this after a few times. Like leaving home for 2 weeks at a time during hunting season of all times. Like they want me to go during the rut. They want me to go during the rut, and there's nothing to hunt over there. Like it was one of those like, oh man, like that was cool a couple times, but there's a whole lot of different ways to travel the world, and don't always want to do it doing the corporate thing.
It's interesting you said that about when you were younger, not knowing a path to entrepreneurship. When I was in college, I started a house painting company, and that's how I made my way through college, was painting houses. And I had a partner.
Did you do like the college? Did you do the college program?
No, but here's what's a trip. So today, I had a mastermind in Debbie Sardone's CBF Elite group, and she had on Cameron Harold, who is the author of Vivid Vision, and he's the former COO of 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and he was talking about, he was actually one of the main dudes that grew college pro painters.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking about it. Like I started this painting company when I was a kid, basically put myself through college for the purpose of going to college, never once thinking, dude, if I still had that painting business now,
painting business would be a freaking gajillionaire.
Right. But I didn't see it that way. It was like a means to something else.
Yeah.
So interesting.
I had a similar path when I left the corporate world. I had our Blue Skies business, and I had business partners in it. And the thing that I was still working in the corporate world, but I was helping my partners do their books and do acquisitions. And so like, I loved it. And that was what drew me into it, was like helping my buddies out with their business and doing the financials for it. Fast forward, then I came in, ran the businesses, had 100 employees in all these locations across the country. And it took like 6 years before I was like, oh, I don't like this. I actually liked when I was helping the business owners with their finances. Why am I running maid service businesses in St. Louis and Tampa and friggin' Portland? Like, what the hell am I doing? And it was like this goofy, like, oh shit, I had the thing that I really wanted. I just didn't even know that was the thing. And I skipped over it and had to go back to it. And like, kind of like you with the painting, it was like, oh man, if I would have known that I could have just kept doing that. That was the thing that I was meant to be doing. I just skipped it.
Right. I think the lesson there for a lot of business owners is you have to get crystal clear on your vision. And that's the thing I notice with a lot of my clients is we end up in these positions where we're trying to fit our life in around our business versus building a business that fits around our life. And if you're not crystal clear on your vision, you wake up on your day and you're like, how did I get here? This isn't what I want to be doing.
Yeah. I had the next presentation I give, I'm working on like some new content for getting up on stage and doing that thing. And I'm building a format around goal setting, because it helped that I screwed this up enough times that I was able to do it right in this business. We have one, and if any maid service business owner that's out there listening, this is for you guys, because bookkeeping and maid service is the exact same thing. I just don't need to drive to my customers, but we're cleaning QuickBooks accounts instead of cleaning houses. We have one metric, and our goal is that 0 client attrition. Never lose a client. I mean, obviously we lose clients, but I like it as a goal because it's constantly resetting. We don't have revenue goals. We don't have profit goals. Those are results. And if we achieve 0 client attrition, we're not even 2 years in and we hit the $1 million mark.
Right.
Because we don't lose clients. And so I had a call actually today with an HVAC company, and she was like, what should my goal be for this year? And I was like, whoa. Like, that's yours, right? I can't tell you what's important to you, but the way you're saying it is, how much revenue should I try to do this year? And I kind of gave her that. I was like, be careful, because I watch a lot of business owners like chase, just like you said, they chase some means to an end, and they get there and they go, oh crap, this isn't what I wanted, right? This is just the thing that seemed sexy that I thought I was supposed to want. But what I actually wanted was this freedom or this support or this lifestyle, not this business with a bunch of problems that I don't even like the job that I have in this business. I grew it to a level or didn't grow it to a level. And now I either love it or hate it, or, whatever the case is. we get distracted with those like monetary things, but it's not always the thing that really drives us.
Absolutely. I think that's a great topic for a presentation. I think, with most of my clients, if they even have a goal, it's crazy to me how many people don't even have a goal set, but it's usually based around revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, and it's just some arbitrary number, but they don't attach anything to it. Like, well, great, I could be a $3 million maid service, but how great is that for me if in order to have that, I'm working 70 hours a week? I don't want that. I don't care if it's a $10 million maid service. I don't want to work 70 hours a week. And so I can't just have the revenue be my goal. It has to have something else driving it that I want for me. What do I want my life to look like?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think revenue is tricky because everybody talks about it. It's like a common denominator that we can all understand, right? And people are gun shy about talking about their profit, which I get. But we like wrap what we think our goal is around what I would say is like a static goal, where it's actually like a dopamine hit, which we know. I had a guy on the podcast and he said, I think I'm going to start opening dopamine clinics because we're all like addicted to dopamine and we're going to need like withdrawals, like we're drug addicts. Like if you look at our world and what we surround ourselves with, and it's like a cause of depression is you keep getting these dopamine hits. And when you put revenue goals out there, it either creates a letdown because you don't get to it, and I noticed this, and we don't even have a revenue goal, but I brought it to our team like, hey, this month we hit the $1 million pace. And so everybody's pumped up and we're stuck in wind this month end. I mean, we're like, we'll execute it, we'll get it done, but we're not executing at the level we should. Everybody like relaxed because like there was this fictitious thing that we achieved that was like static. And it was, and I even know that, so I don't set goals around it, but I thought it'd be cool to like bring it up and say, hey, cool, look this thing we just went past. And everybody's like, oh, cool. Take a deep breath and just chill. And I'm like, no. Zero attrition is the goal. Like the beauty of the zero attrition goal is that if we do lose a client, we still reset. And tomorrow the goal is zero attrition. Like that goal never changes. We get to keep going after it and keep going after it and keep going after it and getting better and getting better and getting better. The revenue and the profit's just a result.
Exactly.
But it's so hard to, it's hard to figure out what that is for your business and what means something to you. And again, like revenue happens to be a common denominator. So you feel this like tension to give somebody that number. They ask you like, what did you do this year? And your answer is always revenue, even though that's not the right answer, but that's what everybody answers. If somebody asks a question, that's just where everybody goes. It's weird. It's weird.
It is weird. And it's interesting too. Like you said, you experienced it this month. Then you hit your goal and everyone takes their foot off the gas.
Yeah. And then you're like, wait. 1.5 million.
Just kidding.
Let me quick make up a new random ass goal for us to chase so that I can remotivate you all.
Right. It's nuts.
I want to go back in time a little bit, Eric, you mentioned the painting stuff that you're doing to like get yourself through college, but it sounds like at the time it wasn't like I'm going to be an entrepreneur. What was that trajectory for you where you realized like, oh man, I want to be running my own business instead of working on somebody else's? And how did it evolve into maid service and coaching? Like take us down the trajectory a little bit, if you will.
Well, when I got out of college, my first job was with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Oh man, just slinging rental cars and like in their leadership development program.
Yeah, baby, slanging the damage waiver.
Yeah,
and the thing, actually, I loved Enterprise. They have an amazing management trainee program, and I climbed through the ranks pretty quickly. And the thing about Enterprise is, your main thing you're graded on is selling damage waiver, which is the insurance that nobody needs. Mm-hmm. And so in that world, look, if you can sell a product that nobody needs and you've got about 1 minute and 30 seconds to sell it, you're a stud. And they promote you, right?
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, and so I loved it, and I got promoted up and had my own stores, and then I started having kids, and you work a lot of hours at Enterprise, and I was like, okay, well, this isn't for me. I can't have these hours. I don't care what you're promising me or what the future is. I want to see my kids. So I left there, and I got into sales management in the linen industry, like Aramark.
Yeah.
And was crushing it there. And I worked there about 4 years. And then they went through some cost cutting stuff, and I was expendable. And
you were the middle tier guy.
Right. And that was my first experience with that. And I'm a pretty young guy at the time, and I was killing it. Like, I always thought that if you're a top performer or whatever, that you're untouchable. But really, depending on the company you work for, you can be just a line item, cost saving.
Yeah, because this annoys me about the corporate world. And was one of the catalysts for me leaving my career was when they do a reduction in force, they get rid of jobs and not people. Like, because they don't want the HR burden of picking people and getting sued, they hire a consultant company to come in and pick jobs on their org chart to get rid of. And those people are gone. There's no assessment of them. And I watched some of the best people get fired and some of the worst people get kept. And I was like, this is just garbage. Like, now I got to do 3 people's jobs because they fired the other good person, and I'm picking up the slack for the other 2 shitheads. Like, I saw it happen twice, and my wife works at 3M, so I've seen it happen there a couple times.
Yep. And if you think about it, a huge company like 3M, if you're doing that internationally, you're cutting millions and millions and millions of dollars off of your books.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when it really clicked for me. It doesn't matter where you go, you're expendable. And it just didn't jive with me. And so I took some time, and then we blended our families, and we were like, look, we have 6 kids. They're all athletes. I'm coaching Little League of 2 different teams.
Yeah.
It's just chaos. And we're like, this isn't manageable if we both have 9 to 5s, and which isn't a 9 to 5, it's a 7 to 7.
Yeah.
It's not manageable. And so we started talking about, well, what else could we do? And her family, my wife's family, they had a fairly large janitorial business. And she was like, well, what do you think about the janitorial industry? And I looked into it, and I'm like, I don't like it at all. I don't want anything to do with it.
I don't want to be out. I don't want to be backing up people and going out from 2 to 6 in the morning to.
Well, I didn't like that. I didn't like the receivables. There's a lot of it I didn't like.
Yeah.
But in looking into that, I came across a bunch of stuff about maid service and residential cleaning and things like that. And I'm like, I really think that we could crush it in this space. If you really dissect it, and what I remember from looking at it back then was you kind of had 2 camps, right? You have the big franchise companies, mm-hmm. and then you've got the mom and pops and the independents and stuff like that. And that's really your competition. And I felt strongly, I'm like, I think we could crush it in here. And so we just went for it. And this was back in 2014. And her and I started cleaning and started hiring.
You guys started it together, like from the get-go?
Yep. We didn't have much more than some buckets, and some vacuums, and some mops, and we started doing that, and then we started hiring some help. And it was interesting back, and I still think this holds true today, but back when we first started, I always thought that the hardest part would be getting clients and generating revenue. And we found out real quick that that's the easy part. The hard part is building your team.
Yeah.
And still that's true today, but so that's how we got into it, and we just grew it from there. And it took us about 4 years to turn it into a complete dumpster fire. It was just chaos. We were working in teams. Everybody hated each other. There was tons of drama.
Oh yeah.
Just a revolving door of employees and no money. We were generating plenty of revenue. That's what you said. Everyone talks about their revenue. It's a sexy number, but you could be a $5 million business
real fast
and be broke.
Oh yeah.
Which is what we were. We were broke. And then in 2018, we came across Debbie Sardone and CBF and joined that, and just changed everything. Just the light bulbs came on, systems were implemented, and just never looked back.
Heck yeah. A couple thoughts. One is, next time you see Sean Day, you got to talk to him about enterprise, because he went through that same system. And that boy, there's 3 or 4 people I know that worked for Enterprise in their management system. And it's just hilarious to listen to his stories. You guys will get a crack.
Oh, dude, that's one cool thing about the Brotherhood of Enterprise is you all have just crazy stories. If you spent any time there's some crazy stories about it. And when you meet people, they either hated their experience or they loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
But plenty of people, it wasn't for them.
My buddy Steve, who was like a fishing buddy of mine in college, he, like the summer after we graduated, he went back home in our hometown. Like we happened to be from the same hometown. We met each other away at college, but just happened to be from the same hometown, went to different high schools. And he got into the Enterprise program and he walked in and they're singing, "If you like Jeannie Palada," like the Pina Colada song, but it was my mom's name. And he's like, "Hey, I know Jeannie." And my mom rented cars from there. Like every week she had like a 2-hour drive and her company would like rent a car from there rather than have to drive her own car.
Yeah.
The damn store had a song for my mom. And Steve walks in and he's like, "What the hell? Why are you guys singing about my buddy's mom?" They're like, "Cause it's Jeannie Palada, you know? You're like Jeannie Palada." Like they had the whole theme song for her. I was like, man, that does sound like a fun place to work where you get to make songs about your customers.
It was a lot of fun. We used to, I'm sure it's much more tame now, but we used to have competitions in the summer where everyone would bring in a case of beer and then whoever sold the most damage waiver at the end of the day would get to take the whole lot of it home.
Oh, heck yeah.
I'm sure they don't let you do that anymore, but we had some fun.
Keep it out in the trunk. Keep it out in the trunk.
We had some fun there back in the day, though.
Heck yeah. So as you guys were starting this business, was your wife working in a job too, and you both just like abandoned that and just said, like, we're going all in, or did you like hedge your bet at all, or was it just pure straight up, we're going for it?
No, when we first started, she was still teaching at Clark College, and so she would teach her classes, go give quotes, meet me at a clean, like she was doing all the things. And we kept that for quite a while. And then we would just kind of slowly, as we grew, we would slowly reduce her class load until finally she just retired from that. And then we went all in.
Heck yeah. It's funny you bring up the employee thing. I see it now, like observing the success of other businesses. It's so night and day. The businesses that I work with that are successful are the ones that have leadership and good recruiting. It doesn't matter if they're good at marketing. It doesn't matter. Like they got to be able to go clean stuff, obviously. But once you get going, that's kind of table stakes. Like that isn't the hard part. The guys and gals that are winning are always the ones that recruit the best and build the best culture every time. Like, and you see, well, I don't see anymore because I'm not on social media anymore, but you see on social media, like people complaining, nobody wants to work anymore and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, man, the only solution you have is you got to go look in the mirror. Like, yes. And Debbie always says, like, you have to create a job that people want. But when I run into business owners that are complaining about employees, I'm just like, obviously there's successful businesses out there that have tons of employees and they figured it out. And you're complaining because you're mad at yourself that you haven't solved it. It's that simple. I told Sean for Hire Lead Chill, like every time he signs up a new client, their welcome package should be a mirror. Whenever your recruiting isn't working, just look at this magic mirror so you can see what the problem is in your recruiting. It's always you and your leadership. Always.
I think whatever the issue is you're facing in your business always comes down to holding up that mirror. If you trace it back far enough, it comes back to you somewhere. Yeah. Either the system you implemented or the follow-up or the leadership or wherever, it's going to come back to you. And it's interesting you said that. I think, honestly think that's the number one thing that holds back a lot of small business owners is that mentality of, oh, that doesn't work in my area, or nobody wants to work anymore. It's a mindset it's a defeatist mindset that puts the blame anywhere other than you and what you're doing. Because anybody that says that, well, we can go in your local service area and find plenty of people that are killing it at exactly what you're trying to do. You just haven't figured out how to do it yet.
Yeah. And it's hard to like look yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm the thing here that sucks, right? Like it's a tough pill to swallow when the business isn't doing what you want it to do. But until you're able to do that, you're just stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
Always.
We were stuck there for the first 4 years. It was brutal.
It is, especially when you are hitting that. I see what I call the purgatories of scaling, where you hit these like goofy, sticky spots, and it's always a personnel issue of some sort. But usually it happens in maid service around like 200 to 300, because you start needing a production manager, like a field manager, and then it happens again around like 600, where you start needing more office help, and then it really happens at 1 million, which is always frustrating for people because they're like, I hit 1 million. But now you need like sales and leadership help and somebody else to grow your business too. And there's these like goofy, sticky spots that are really predictable, where you can just watch people get stuck in the mud. And the longer you stay there, the more it sucks. Like you just spin your wheels and you bang your head against the wall until you figure out like what that cog is that needs to be turned to get you out of it. And once you figure it out, then it's like, okay, here we go again. Now we got it, until you hit the next one. And you're like, shit, I thought we had it figured out.
Absolutely. New devil at every level. It's like the book, The E-Myth, right? I mean, we're all, for the most part, whatever business we're in, you got into that and you were the technician. And so at every step, I have to learn these new skill sets and these new systems and all this stuff. I complain about it still to this day. I'm not a tech guy at all. And the more our business scales and the more we try to automate stuff, like I got to learn.
You got to learn AI and stuff now.
Right? And
crazy.
I mean, I'm the guy that like gives the remote and my phone to the kids. Hey man, this isn't working. I need you to fix this.
That's why you got 6 kids. You got all these built-in IT department stuff.
Right? Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
But you know, you were started as a technician and you learn all this stuff and you get yourself to 300 grand and you're like, oh man, this is great. And then like you said, now I'm stuck and I got to learn a whole new what's next every step of the way.
What, I'm curious, because this is always like the fun part. This is type 2 fun, the stuff that sucked the most in the moment, but is the funniest to tell stories about. In those like 4 years of sticking in the mud, what are some of your favorite recollections of the most horrible? Usually it's like employee stories about employees doing silly stuff or stealing stuff or breaking stuff or whatever. Are there any like stories that get told over and over again in your business about the hilarious things that got screwed up?
I don't know, man. We have a bunch of them, but when just hearing you say that, the first one comes to my mind is when my wife and I were still cleaning, and I think we had 2 helpers or whatever. They were our first 2 hires.
Yeah.
Great gals. They were our first 2, and so we were like training them, even though we had no training system whatsoever. We were just go clean this, but they were with us, and we had this dude was our biggest client. He was a weekly client. I think he might have been our first weekly client. And he was this trust fund kid that was a drummer in some local band. And he lived in this huge house. But he was a partier. Like he partied like he was freaking Tommy Lee or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, actually, when we used to do in-home estimates like everybody else. And when I went to give the quote, the dude opens the door in his tidy whities with like this big turban on his head. Like he was a trip. And so
think you're in like Super Troopers or something.
Yeah.
Like what did I just walk into here?
But he's a weekly client and we got his daddy's credit card. And so we need this money, right? Well, every day when we'd go to clean his house every week, he would never answer the door, but he was always home. So we would sit out there and throw pebbles at his window. And, like you're trying to wake up your girlfriend to sneak out of high school or something. Yeah. Every morning we're like,
Bink.
Matthew, his name was Matthew, and we'd be like trying not to yell to disturb the neighbors, but we're like throwing these pebbles, and we'd be out there for like 30 minutes, and eventually he'd come down and he'd all hung over. Oh, sorry, man, come on in. And so he was pretty funny. And then, gosh, the other one I remember is just like we used to hire. If you answered the phone and you could start in the next week, we would hire you for the most part.
Oh, yeah, the dumpster hire. Yeah.
So desperate for labor. And I'll never forget, we had no role clarity either, Debbie and I. So, like, we would both do hiring. We would both do estimates, whatever. We just like I said, it was a dumpster fire. And I remember this gal I called. She had an appointment for a phone screen, and I called her. And I introduced myself, and we were talking for like, I don't know, 5 minutes. And then she just cuts me off and she says, "Who's this?" And so later I'm telling my wife the story about, and I was like, yeah, we were talking to her for like 5 minutes. And then she was like, who is this? Where are you from? And the next thing out of my wife, she says, did you hire? When does she start?
So she's got a pulse, right? Okay.
Yeah. You got a heartbeat. When can you
Bring
start?
her in.
Yeah.
Bring her on in.
When can you start? But that was the early days of Rise and Shine, man. Whatever it took.
Yeah. It is funny because I think when you start, you don't see what you really need. You just see a human and you're like, I have 100% trust in you immediately to go take care of my customers. And you get burned so many times. And I do see that like wipe people out too, like business owners that get so burned out, but they don't learn the lesson of like how to figure out who's going to be good and who's not going to be good. We had some of my dandies. I have 3 of them. 2 were maid service, one like window cleaning one. One of my maid service ones, I had this gal that I hired, and like I should have fired her day one. I think she was even late to her interview. But like throughout like the first couple days, she showed up late every time. And like by day 3, she's like an hour late. And I'm going out cleaning with her. And we got like 5 houses on our schedule. And I'm like, where are you, Brittany, or whatever the hell her name was? And for like 30 minutes, she keeps telling me how she's like right around the corner. And I'm like, yeah, but like where? I bet it's been 10 minutes since you were right around the corner. There's only a stoplight. Like, are you okay? Did you get in a car accident? Like, finally she gets to work. So like clearly she wasn't around the corner like at all the whole time. I probably woke her ass up, right? So we go to the first house and I'm kind of lecturing her. I'm like, hey, like I need you to be here on time. Like our clients have timelines, and therefore we have timelines. Like we got to be in and out of the house in this time. And she's like, yeah, I totally get it. She's like, I'm gonna go out to the car to get a granola bar. I'm really hungry. And so she goes out to the car. She asked to drive separate, and I didn't like think anything of it. I like am vacuuming in the living room, and I look out, and the car's just going away. I'm just like, like apparently the granola bar was just around the corner. That's right, the granola bar was. It was over around the corner. We actually had one. We hired this gal to be a cleaner, but we also needed a manager. This is when we got stuck in the mud at like the 200,000. We had 6 cleaners, and I was like, anybody. She was my 3rd attempt to hire a manager. Anybody with a pulse that can babysit the rest of my whatever this crew is that I had put together. And we brought her in. She actually interviewed really well. So it was promising. But then she was the one that called in the Friday after Thanksgiving. Like the manager called in. You expect like your shitty employee to do that. The manager did that. Like no-showed the day after Thanksgiving when we had houses scheduled. And the next week she was out at a house with a new dumpster hire gal. And the other gal was the one driving and had a car trouble and like pulled over on the side of the road. And our manager had her boyfriend come and pick her up and just left her employee stranded on the side of the road and like left the scene. And they still had another house to clean after that one. Like there was a number of decisions that could have been made differently, but she abandoned an employee and the last house of the day and was just like, I'm out. It still showed up to work the next day like nothing was wrong. Like, oh, that's totally fine. I was just like, what world do we live in where you like abandon an employee on the side of the road and say, good luck, I'm not going to help you solve this problem.
Just another Tuesday.
It was just one of those things. And my last one in our window cleaning business, we had a guy get so disgruntled. He broke a customer's window screen over his knee and threw it in the woods. And she was a maid service client of ours, a window cleaning client, a holiday light client, and
the trifecta.
I had cleaned her house, and she like none of my clients had my cell phone number. Like I made a point not to do that, but she was one of them because when I would clean, I would, hey, I'm coming out, Elizabeth. And so I saw her calling me, and I was like, why the hell would Elizabeth be calling me? And so I kind of did one of those like, hey, Elizabeth. And she's like, hey, Dan, you're Tony's out here today. And I was like, I didn't know that, right? Like, I was out of the day-to-day, and I think we had been going by this point in time, so I had tons of moving parts, and I was not paying attention at all to our schedule. I was like, is he? How's he doing? And she's like, not well. I just saw him. And she goes, you know how my screens are really tricky? And I was like, yeah, Elizabeth, your screens are tough. And they were really hard to get in and out. Like they were painted and just a mess. It's like, yeah, you know how my screens are hard to get in and out. Well, Tony had a problem with one of them, and now it's in the woods and broken in pieces. And I was like, oh no, like I don't even know how to apologize for this. She's like, can you just get him out of here? I was like, yeah, I think now is a good time. And it was one of those where it's like I had been thinking about firing him for weeks. Like, had plenty of reasons to fire him. I just didn't, because I was a Sally ass, shitty business owner that just needed people. I needed guys, and he showed up. And so we kept him, and it ended in Elizabeth Dobbs' screen going into the woods. But man,
crazy when you think back. When you think back to those times about how back then I just used to view it as labor. We need labor. I gotta have labor. But when you switch and view them as people and culture, and I need people that align with my core values and want to be on this bus, it's just flips the script.
Yeah. I even, when I interview now, I don't even ask any questions. I do a presentation. Like, I have them choose me. I do it totally like it's sales. Mm-hmm. And then I just build a huge list. So I'm always like cherry picking from a list of dozens of people. And that's been super helpful to just always be picking from the top and have a list of 10 to 20 people that I can pick from. I'm obviously always picking the person I think is best. So I let them kind of interview me and choose to come and work for us instead of me try to pick who I think is going to be best. And that's been a game changer for us, at least on the bookkeeping side.
Yeah, I bet.
What, in your business now, obviously, like you're in a healthy spot to be able to even think about taking a summer off. Like, when did that come to fruition? What was the catalyst where you're like, holy smokes, I think we can do this? Maybe I should back it up a little bit. Like, what was the thing that ultimately all of a sudden you like saw the scaling happen, or after the 4 years of kind of being in the mud, the pieces started to come together to get to where you are today?
Well, when we joined CBF in 2018, just implementing proven systems was the start, right? That was the foundation that we didn't have. Like I said in the beginning, we didn't even have role clarity. Like, I'm giving estimates, Debbie's giving estimates, I'm doing sales, she's doing sales. It's just, I mean, it's crazy to look back. Like, why would we even think that's how you would do something?
Yeah.
But the CBF foundation and principles was the start of it. And then we started putting together some pretty good growth year after year and kind of growing, but we still did everything ourselves. It was still us, but now we're getting role clarity. She's handling the people, I'm handling the systems and the sales and all that. And interestingly enough, the catalyst that really pushed us over the top was, oddly enough, cancer diagnosis. And when I got diagnosed with cancer in 2021, and it just flipped something for us. And we were like, it made us look at it a different way. And we looked at it like, dude, we've built this up pretty good. I think we were at like, I don't even remember what we were doing. I want to say we were doing around 850 a year, something like that. Mm-hmm. But we were doing everything. And we were like, we've just created jobs. Like, we just have jobs. And if something happens to you, and like right now, I had to go be doing treatments all day. Yeah. I can't be in the day to day. And so that's when we shifted to what the buzzword now is playbooks. Everyone's all about playbooks. But for us, it was a more simplified version of that. It was just, we need to create systems of if this, then that, and hand all these tasks, we got to hand it up, get rid of it. And that was terrifying, for one, because, you've been there. Like, you have this mindset of nobody can do this like me. Nobody.
Yeah.
But crazy enough, like, once we implemented it and handed it over, dude, we took off like freaking wildfire. I mean, it was insane. Because we had people now in the roles that's all they're doing. That's all she was doing, is answering phones and selling house cleaning.
Totally focused. Yep.
Right. And that was just the huge catalyst, and we've never looked back. And since then, now I always say, if there's something that I am doing in our business that I don't, or even in life, really, if there's something I'm doing that I don't want to do, I won't do it more than 2 more times. I'll do it 1 more time and I'll document the whole thing. I'll make a video. This is how you do it, whatever. And then Maybe I'll do it one more time after that, and then I'm handing it over. I'm not doing it again. Life's too short. I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
That was a huge catalyst.
I was gonna say, do you think you would have? Sorry to hear that you had cancer. I think I knew that, but I had never like heard it from you about how it happened, when it happened. Do you think you would have hit the same epiphany or trajectory had you not had that moment, or how do you feel like that would have unfolded?
I think it's crazy how much our life has changed because of that. So it's hard to say, but I think knowing my mentality before I was diagnosed, I still think we would have had the same success. Yeah. I think it might have taken a little longer. I think I would have stayed doing all the things for a lot longer. And it would have taken me longer to learn the lessons. Yeah. But ultimately, I think we still would have got where we were going.
Yeah. Just a more of a kick in the pants, especially like post COVID. That's like a tough, like swallowing a hard pill and then swallowing a really hard pill.
Oh, dude, it was brutal. But the difference is that without that diagnosis, I would be working a ton more. I would still be logging serious hours at Rise and Shine. And now we just view it different. Like, I want to live my life. I want to enjoy my wife, my kids. And at the end of the day, nobody starts a business to have a 50, 60, 70 hour a week job, right? I want to be an owner. It's an investment. Yeah. And that's how we should be looking at it, right? Is I'm investing this into this business with the expectation of I want this return out of it. And for me now, yeah, of course we have a dollar figure of a return we want, but really the return I want is my time freedom.
Yeah. I think that's a trap a lot of us get caught in early on, is we almost like put pride and hang our hat on, I'm an owner operator. And like, yeah, but that's two different things. Like, one's an investor and one has a job, and they get paid differently. Like, one gets a paycheck and one gets distributions. And it's important to know when you're being which one. The decisions an operator makes are way different than the decisions an owner makes. Early on, it's really hard to decipher, but as your business scales, it becomes really obvious when you're being the owner and when you're being the operator. And like you said, at the end of the day, if you are a small business owner, it's just your personal stock market. You can go invest in somebody else's business too. You tend to invest back in yours. And at the start, you invest a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but hopefully down the road, you're just investing capital and not as much blood, sweat, and tears. But it's hard to transition out of the operator into the owner for a lot of people. We get so sucked into, like you said earlier, like nobody can do this the way I can do it. And you get trapped being an operator.
Well, it is hard, I think, for a couple of reasons. One is in our culture, we celebrate the hustle, right? We celebrate the grind and the work and the muscle and all of it. And I get it. I mean, I was raised that way, and that's how I came up, right? Is you got to always be hustling, always be grinding. And I get it. There's something to be said for that. And when I was first diagnosed and I stepped away, I struggled with, I mean, I remember having many, many conversations with my wife of like, what the hell do I do now?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to be doing? Because, I didn't do conventional treatments. I chose to heal naturally and holistically. And in that, they were like, look, man, you got to remove stress and anxiety from your life. You're the way you're living your life, you're in constant fight or flight. And that's just crushing your immune system. And you need your immune system running full throttle if we're going to heal this way. And so we had to remove all stress, which meant I'm at arm's length of this business. And I struggled with that.
Well, yeah, it's like the stress is also a motivator and like feeds your energy a little bit. And then
100%.
Like, now what do I do?
I used to say that to her all the time. Well, now what do I do? And she's like, well, you got to do this, that you're healing. You have to go do these things. And I'm like, yeah, but what about that? And she's like, well, we hired them to do that. And that's
how many Sudoku puzzles can I do here? What am I supposed to do with myself?
Now though, so that was then. Now I'm into it. Now I've got this down, right? Well, I'll just go play golf, or we'll just go to the beach for the weekend, or whatever. But at first it was a struggle. It was a challenge. You feel like you're letting people down, or you feel like I'm not doing enough, or whatever. We always, we always seem to want to, we got to be doing something.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, I think as a culture, we've lost sight of we're human beings. Being is the key word, not doing, right? We always want to
human doings.
Right. We're not, but we are, right? We always got to be doing something. It's crazy.
It is funny you say that. And I'm super guilty of it. I suck at sitting still. The minute I'm sitting still, I have like guilt that comes over me of what am I not doing right now? Right. I could be being so productive at something.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to relax. I suck at sitting still. Terrible at it.
Yeah, me too. I was out last night at like 8:30 at night, staining the deck out back. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I got to get this done. And we got graduation." And she's like, "Well, why didn't you just hire somebody?" And I'm like,
"Yeah,
I don't know. It's easy. It's right here." And she's like, "Well, do it tomorrow or do it on the weekend." But it's like, it's there and I know it needs to be done and I'm not doing anything. It's hard to sit still. It's hard to just be.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking I got to unpack. I was on a canoe trip last week. All the gear is sitting in the garage, like drying out. And we had reconstruction on our garage from some water damage. So my garage looks like we're hoarders. And it needs to be dealt with. And it's like causing me some stress that it's all like out there for future Dan to deal with. But I did the last few nights, my wife has had stuff every night of the week this week. And I've just been like, just hanging with the kids. Future Dan, that stuff will be there for future Dan to deal with. But current Dan doesn't like leaving it for future Dan. Future Dan's going to be pissed at current Dan. In the future, he'll be past Plata. He'll be blaming past Plata for leaving that one for him.
But future Dan will appreciate the time that you just chilled with the kids.
That's right.
Because he'll be sitting where I'm at, where they're about to head off to college or wherever they're going, and they're not going to remember your hustle and your grind or whatever. They're going to remember pancakes and lemonade and whipped cream.
That's right. With grandma.
Well, so yeah. You just got to make the pancakes.
I did have last night I had my 2-year-old and the girls were with grandma and it was just me and the boy. Marty was out doing her thing with her work dinner stuff. And Crosby's like, "I want to go on an adventure." And I was like, "That's cool. We're going to go on an adventure in the swimming pool because Dad's got to clean this damn pool. Like it was dirty as hell." And I'm like, I got to be productive. I got to get this pool done. But we're going on an adventure in the pool and the grill. We're grilling hot dogs and we're swimming. And we had a great adventure. And I was trying to like blend that, like, let me get this one thing done while I'm like playing with the dude. And it turned into a great game of chasing around the pool vacuum. But it is like moments like that where you just got to do the fam thing.
Yep.
Especially when you get one-on-one time. Like one-on-one time is hard to come by.
Oh, dude. It really, especially when you have a bunch of kids. You have 3?
Yeah.
It is. And it's, it's so valuable when you can get just that one-on-one, especially when you have a bunch of them. It becomes more rare to get one of them just singled out.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Do you guys ever do it intentionally? Do you like set time up to do that intentionally with your kiddos?
Oh, dude, we're, that's another blessing of cancer that we never, it's changed my life so much, but yeah, now we meet Debbie and I every January. We go away for like 3 days and we have this vision retreat. And we basically map out our year down to details like that. Like we're like, okay, well, in June, let's do this. And in August, you could go do this. And so, yeah, we're very intentional about, like, last 2 weeks ago, she took our daughter to Vegas. A couple weeks before that, I had our 2 youngest sons and we went to, over to Bend for a fly fishing and golf 4-day weekend.
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
Like that stuff, we would have never done that before because we would always feel like, oh, we don't have time. Well, this has been mapped out since January. Like it's just blocked off. We're doing
the time's already there. The calendar shows that the time exists.
Yep. And that's all it is. Right.
Yeah.
Just got to make the time. But if you don't, what we found anyway, for me, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. And if I don't do it ahead of time, then in my mind, I have no time.
Yeah. I'm totally Ron Burgundy. Like I just do whatever's on my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
If it's on there, I'm doing it. And so as long as I block it off, then that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at holding to like whatever's on there. I do tend to like work into my time blocks a little bit because I'll like have meetings right up to a time block and I'm like, shit, now like I got to do the thing to follow up after the meeting. So I'll like eat into it a little bit, but if you can like stick to those blocks, they're golden.
Okay. So
what's on them.
Do you and your wife have a shared calendar?
We, not specifically, but we like share we're cross-pollinating all the time. Like anytime we have stuff, we're always, to an annoying degree, we're putting it on like all 4 calendars type of thing.
Right.
It's like personal calendars and whatever. And so there's constant calendar chaos, but we don't have one that's like the family calendar per se. Is that what you're kind of?
Yeah. So that's our struggle right now is like, she'll come and be like, well, we've got this or whatever. And I'm like, well, it's not on my calendar. That doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. So that's the next, we got to get that piece, like, cause that's not her world. She doesn't operate that way.
Oh yeah.
And so she doesn't get it. Right. For me, that like, no, that doesn't exist. I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, we talked about it for an hour. Well, maybe we did, but it's not on my calendar.
It's not on the calendar. Yeah.
I don't remember.
God dang it. Now, like, what did my wife text me today? This literally came today. She said, are you working on 620 or 623? We have a fishing thing we're doing in my family. She said, also, I might need to work Friday night to get a presentation done. I haven't been able to get to it this week. If we're going to the camping thing Saturday morning, I might just stay at the office until I finish. Let's review our weekend tomorrow morning, maybe. Like, we got to look at a calendar. So we'll like sit in bed. Our date night is like, let's align calendars for the next 3 months and make sure we got the same things in the same places, and that the trips that you've got are on my calendar, so I know when you're gone. And then I got, like, we do a little bit. We're not perfect, right? But it's every time that it screws up, we're like, man, we gotta get better at this, because it frustrates everybody when, like, anytime there's a lapse in communication, it just like it snowballs, like, you know.
For sure. So, well, all I took out of that was that you're going fishing.
The whole family is. We're going salmon fishing on Lake Michigan with the whole family.
Oh yes.
We'll see if the 2-year-old likes being out on the Great Lakes waves, but
first time.
Yeah, I've never taken the kids out. I grew up salmon fishing. We've had a boat over there since I was like, I was out on the boat as a baby. Different boat now, but like we've been going over there every summer. My dad's all into it and owns a boat with a buddy of his. So we usually go 1 or 2 times every summer, and never brought the kids out there yet, though. Oh, speaking of the kids, what are you still doing? It's an hour later. You gotta go to bed.
You're not following directions.
It doesn't matter if you're not tired. Go lay down and stare at the wall and watch the paint dry.
That's gonna be boring.
That's the whole point. That'll put you to sleep. What are you gonna do about it? Go read more. Yeah. It's not like you got school tomorrow. What do you have tomorrow?
Ninja.
Yeah, but are you going to grandma's tomorrow? Are you going to anything tomorrow? Or are you just here harassing me on my calls?
Did she say ninja?
Yeah, my kids, her especially, do like American Ninja Warrior.
Yes.
They're just freaking
so awesome.
Like, she's scary. Like, she's just a ball of muscle. And it's fun. It's she'll like beat some of the boys that are older than her, and it's really like it's funny to watch. Though and I was one of those dudes. Like when I was a kid, if you beat me, I was crying. I just couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle losing. So I get to watch that now as a dad, like watching her beat boys that are older than her, and it's kind of funny.
So you're the reason that now they give everybody trophies because you couldn't handle losing.
I couldn't handle losing, man.
So now we just don't have losers.
Yeah, nobody loses anymore. Everybody gets a damn trophy because of sissies like me. Huh. I grew out of it. But now I'm just used to losing, so it's totally fine. I'm like immune to it.
Hey, man, every time you're losing, you're learning a lesson.
Hell yeah. I super enjoy like when they do ninja. It's so, as a parent, you're like trying not to like force your kids into stuff, but you also kind of secretly hope that they get into stuff that you like to watch and play yourself, so that you get to watch stuff that you like to watch. And both girls did gymnastics for a while, which I like, cool. Like you're building some strength there, but it's a little like too dancey for me. Not into the theatrics of it. And so when they started getting into ninja, I mean, it's like professional monkey bars, and they're flying and they're pulling and they're gripping and they're like just doing badass stuff. I'm like, I mean, when they're like swinging and they're going to do a big throw, I'll be standing there like on the sideline, like, here we go. I'll be swinging my body, like trying to like usher some momentum their way. It's super fun to watch.
So, I can totally relate. All our boys grew up playing baseball, and then one of them, like midway through, I don't know what he was, maybe a freshman, 8th grader, decides he's going to go play lacrosse. Now, I don't take any offense if there's any lacrosse fans out there, but I didn't grow up playing lacrosse, and I don't understand lacrosse. And so going to watch lacrosse, it's not that great. I don't know what's going on. It's we're in Oregon. It's in the spring, so it's cold. It's raining. It kind of sucks.
Yeah. Lacrosse, I thought they only did that on the East Coast. I thought that was an East Coast sport.
Man, it's one of the most popular youth sports on the West Coast right now. And I just saw a thing the other day that it's like drastically reducing the enrollment of Little League baseball. Like to the point that Little League's like their marketing department or whatever, they're like, what are we going to do about this?
Oh, damn. Yeah. There's a new sport in town. We got to
crazy. It's a cool sport. I mean, it's kind of fun. I just didn't understand it. So I didn't like to watch it because I never knew what was going on.
I kind of feel like that with rugby. Like I love watching football, and I think I would super enjoy rugby. I think I'd love playing rugby and just running into people full speed. But I don't really know what's going on, and so it's a little harder to get into.
Yes.
So I'm there with you. A couple questions for you. The summer off, like, what does that mean to you? What do you have planned? How open are you trying to keep it? How scheduled are you trying to keep it? Is it truly like off, or like what's your how much business time do you have on your calendar? What kind of check-in time do you have built into your calendar for the summer?
Well, so I still keep my level 10 meetings for Rise and Shine, but that's 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. So those are still on the calendar. I still have coaching hours on my calendar, but they're very reduced. Very reduced. And I have a project for Rise and Shine that I'm a little behind on, so I do need to do that. We just partnered with Outrank Automations, and I'm so far behind.
Is this a rock? Is this a rock in your EOS system? Is it a quarterly rock that you got to get rolling?
No, but it is something I'm way behind on. So I got to get that done. But other than that, really no Rise and Shine stuff other than the level 10s. And then what we're doing, well, next week we're leaving for Cancun because, to follow up on my cancer, I'm in remission. 4 years it took me, but I'm in remission. And crazy enough, the week we found out I was in remission, my wife was diagnosed with
Jesus,
essentially the same cancer that I had. And so we spent a ton of time in Cancun, Mexico, because that's where I got treatments and that's where she's getting treatments. Okay. So in a week, we're going to go spend a couple weeks there. Then when we come back, we've just got some local trips planned with the kids, just hanging out. Then in August, we're road tripping down to Long Beach, California. Our daughter is going to Paul Mitchell School of Beauty down there. And so we're going to drive her down and get her situated. And her brother's going to come with us. And then we're going to fly him home. And we're going to take like 2 weeks and drive the Pacific Coast Highway home and just kind of take our time doing that. And cruise it, baby. And see what we see and end up where we end up. And then we've got a CBF thing in September. But just pretty laid back and local stuff. Some time in Mexico.
There you go.
I mean, if anything comes up, we've designed our business. I could full on jump in and take back over Rise and Shine from anywhere in the world. Really, we designed it that way.
Yeah. How was that trying to find like GM type of roles? Did you get it right the first time? Did you hire the wrong person? Because I see a lot of people get stuck there. I'm curious how you built that so that other people could run your business and you could really be more of an investor and not an operator.
Well, here's what's interesting about the way we did it. And I don't know I know a lot of people don't do it this way. Most people don't do it this way. We're completely run by remote admins, or what most people would call VAs. Mm-hmm. And we're what I call a fully systems driven business. Now, we've been very blessed with our main remote admin person. She's been with us for like 5 years and she's awesome. And so, not to take anything away from her, but I fully believe that the way we've built our business, it's a systems driven business. And I believe I could input not anybody, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Into that role.
A good human being.
Yes. And our training and onboarding is good enough that they could be successful in that role. And so it's all run by VAs.
Badass. Do you hire them directly, or do you use a service for your VAs?
We currently, and have been this whole time, use Innova Local, Chris Schwab.
Okay.
And we've enjoyed our partnership with them. We've had good luck with them. We've got one more that we're thinking of onboarding through GetNuva.
Okay.
But we haven't onboarded them yet. But yeah, they're all remote admins.
Are they in the Philippines, or are they around the world in different geographies?
No, they're all of our current ones are US based.
Okay.
And so with that, you pay a premium.
Yeah.
But we knew that going in, and that was part of the strategy, is we felt more comfortable with that. But you definitely pay a premium for that. And then the one that we have kind of on the back burner with GetNuva, she's from the Philippines.
Okay. Yeah. In our business now, all of our clients get, again, like, we're basically a maid service business. We just don't have to drive to them. So our team can be anywhere around the world. So all of our clients have a dedicated account manager that's in the US. That's a little bit more of a finance person, but the bookkeeper doing the real like cleaning and the heavy lifting is in the Philippines. And they're just really diligent and they're good at accounting. Like, they're really well trained and well versed in accounting, which is super nice. There's still some like hurdles of language barriers and understanding and confidence of like what's happening in the business, which is why we also have a US based account manager to like filter some of those nuances. But man, it's nice being able to have those roles be anywhere instead of be geographically constrained. It just opens up the world to hire qualified people.
Absolutely. And it just requires a little bit of tweaking to your systems and your training and stuff, right? Like, that's one of the questions everyone asks me is, well, how does your scheduler, if she doesn't even live where you live, like, how does she know where things are? Like, it's just, you just have to step out of your box and tweak it a little bit and change the way you do things.
The interesting thing, and I'm not sure if you have a strategy with this, but when I'm hiring account managers in the US, I generally am not hiring people from the coasts. Like, no offense, but it's really expensive, right? Like, there's no way I would hire somebody in California. Not that there's not talented people there, but they're going to need $100,000 to do the same thing I could hire somebody in Oklahoma for $30,000 to do. Do you find like geographically there's certain places you like to get people, or are you kind of like open to everywhere? If they can do the job and the price is right, let's do it.
We're open to it. And again, we go through Innova, so they set the pricing. And so really that's not an issue for us. We see that just with our cleaning technician. I mean, we're in Portland, Oregon, and Vancouver, Washington. So we're on the West Coast. Excuse me. Our minimum wage is $17 an hour. And if you offer $17 an hour, you're not getting anybody. And so our labor costs are through the roof compared to, you know, somebody in Texas, or it's insane. The coast it's crazy over here, man. The cost of living it's insane.
I do find that. Where do you see the trajectory, and like, is there a means to an end of your business? Is there I hate to say goal, but is there an echelon you're trying to reach to be able to sell it? Or is it more of a buy and hold strategy versus a exit strategy? Where do you see the trajectory of it going?
Well, my wife would say she would like to sell it sooner than I would. We're in like a buy and hold. Ultimately, I think our kind of shorter term vision is we would actually like to turn it into some model of an employee owned company.
Yeah.
Kind of, I don't know if you guys have Winco where you're at, but like it's a grocery store. They do that. There's a lot of companies that do it. So we would like to turn it into some model of that, where it's some form of a employee owned. And at some point, we'd like to sell it, but it's not like a short-term strategy or anything like that. I mean, the way I see it is, as long as we can continue getting the returns out of it, and as long as it's meeting the needs of where I'm not dumping a bunch of time into it, she's not dumping a bunch of time into it, then why would I get rid of that?
Yeah. It does surprise me. And again, I'm like on the outside looking in a lot of times at other people's businesses, but it seems like a lot of people are in like a race to try to sell their business. And they usually are like, right when it starts to they're like building it to be profitable. And then they're like, all right, I made it profitable. Now I can sell it. And I'm like, yeah, but you could also just keep it profitable. And like if you do that net present value calculation, you're better off keeping it. Now, if you hate it, I get selling it. Like if it's not your passion and you aren't in love with your business, go find what you're in love with, right? But if you're just scaling it to sell it, I don't know. It feels weird to like put all that time and energy into scaling a business and then by the time you get it profitable, then you ditch it. I think that'd be the time to keep it.
I totally agree. And I think, you know, one of the things people lose sight of, I mean, let's say you have a $2 million business or a $1.5 million maid service, and you sell that, and you're somewhat younger person, you're not set. You're not set off that by any means. And so guess what? Yeah. What are you going to do now? Are you going to go get a job, or are you going to build another business? And if you're going to build another I mean, I get it. There's people like, for me, the juice I get from Rise and Shine was building it. I don't take any satisfaction in meeting goals, or like that doesn't get my juices flowing. Building the systems got me. That's what I liked about it. So I get those type of people that constantly want to be building something. But if you're not that kind of person and you sell your business, well, what are you going to do now? You're just going to have to go build another one.
Yeah. You're going to have to go through the pain, and like starting a business sucks. Right. I just had to relive that. Like I said earlier, like, hey, you know, less than 2 years, we made $1 million. We didn't make any money for a year. Right? When you grow really fast, there's no money to be made. You're constantly training and investing, and like growth is expensive.
Yes, it is.
That's that year 1 and year 2 is when you're working 60 to 80 hours a week.
Right.
Like I'm trying not to do that anymore. Like the thing for me to celebrate is like, oh God, I got more time to go fishing. Thank goodness.
Right.
Like now we're insulated so we can get those systems and processes going. So it's not the 60 to 80 hours a week. Like now I don't want to sell it. Now I'm in love with it. Now it's now we get to do the fun stuff. But like starting over is anybody that's done that and like started multiple businesses, unless they love that grind that much, they know like it's expensive and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun, but she's a shitload of work.
Totally agree. So yeah, we're in more of a buy and hold, and like I said, I'd like to in some fashion structure it to give something of it to where the employees have ownership over it, and then we'll see where it goes.
I like that. I had a few people in a CEO roundtable group that I was in Minneapolis that that were ESOPs in their companies. And when I was in the corporate world, Cargill is the largest. Cargill and Koch Industries are like the two largest private companies in the US. And Cargill was ESOP. So I still own like $150,000 worth of Cargill stock just from 401k matching while I was there. And I always appreciated that. I thought, like, granted, that company, you know, had 170,000 employees or something like that. So you still feel like a bit of a number. But the ability to have the employees own the company is really attractive to me. And I think it like lends to the culture. Like it's
totally,
it's part of the thing that builds the culture. I have heard, I haven't like done all the research, but I have heard it costs like $200,000 or $300,000 to start one, to like get the ESOP started. So I have told our team, like, that's part of the game for me, but we got to probably be in like the 3 to 5 million range before our business is like, yep, this is worth 200. And by the time we get there, it'll probably cost $500,000 to set it up or whatever it takes.
Right.
Cause you got to put money on reserve right away and whatever to start buying out shares. But it's a cool, to me, that's like the sexiest exit. Like that's a cool way to walk off into the sunset. Or I guess you don't even walk off. You still kind of like stay engaged, but it's a nice slow walk off, if you will. It's
absolutely,
like a home run to win the game.
I think it's huge for your culture. I think it's huge for your retention, and that's kind of where our focus is this year. Is our customer acquisition cost, our employee acquisition cost, and our retention of both employees and clients. We're all in on those things, and I think if you can manage to get yourself into a position to where you can turn it into some version of an ESOP, I mean, how great is that for your retention?
Yeah, that's cool. Zero attrition. Going for zero attrition.
There you go.
That's the mark.
Yeah.
I want to dig into coaching a little bit, and then we'll wrap this thing up. How's the foray into coaching? Is it something that you always wanted to do? Is it something Debbie tapped you for at some point? Like, how did you get into it? And how are you liking it? What's the vibe on the coaching world?
I love it, man. It's something I wouldn't say I was ever like, oh, I want to be a coach and I want to coach. But I have a natural tendency towards coaching. I've coached sports my whole adult life. But I never really saw the transition from that to this. But it is very similar. But no, it's something that Debbie tapped me for and asked if I would be interested in. And I absolutely love it. I think it's so cool to be able to play a role in helping people build a business that fits their dream, fits their vision. It's very rewarding. I love it.
Do you, I imagine like coaching especially your kids in baseball, like you have those like super proud moments where you've helped them in a certain way or helped the team in a certain way, and you get to watch their success and you just get like all the warm fuzzies. Have you seen that in business coaching where you're like, you damn near feel like you're more excited than the person you're coaching about some sort of success that they've had?
All the time. What's crazy about it is if a client reaches a milestone or like something that's just, wow, I can't believe they went from this to that. Like I get more excited about that than if we hit a goal at Rise and Shine. Like, and don't get me wrong, I love our cleaning business. I absolutely love it, but it doesn't fire me up anymore. Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't get fired up over it. But yeah, when they do something, you're just like, oh man, that's so awesome. Like it's an amazing feeling.
It is. What's on the horizon for you? Is it more free time as you kind of get empty nested? Are there other like side projects outside of maid service and coaching, or other investments you want to get into? Where do you see the future going as an investor of a maid service business and some coaching? What does the future look like in the little bit longer term for you? It's
a trip where we're at right now. I mean, I told you a little bit about my wife and my experience over the past 4 years. And I find myself in this place where things that used to matter to me don't really anymore. Right now, the focus is 100% is just her healing and whatever we need to do to do that, which is requires just kind of stepping back from life as we know it, I guess.
Yeah.
And it really just forces me to put into perspective, like, what's important. And so I know this sounds so lame, but like, we really live for the day. We really do. I mean, it's just, how can I maximize this day? And so I know in the short-term future, we've got plans of moving and stuff like that. That's pretty exciting. But other than that, like, we're trying to free up as much time, because she's a wild card, right? We don't know what that is. And we know that's where all our resources go, all of our focus goes. And so really, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't really care about anything other than that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know our kids are set. We know they're all going to be where they're supposed to be. Like I said, we've got plans that we're going to move from where we live now. But other than that, she's my focus 100%.
Hell yeah. I have, I don't know if this is good or bad. I don't think it's either, but I have a tendency to not celebrate my birthday. Like, I just forget about it. And people are like, why don't you care about your birthday? And I'm like, because every day is my fucking birthday. Like, why would you wait a year to celebrate? Right? Like, every day is a damn gift. How cool is this? Like, we don't need to wait till then to throw a party. We can party today. Like, let's have some fun now. So I like the vibe of just staying in the moment.
Yeah.
I got a closing question for you. Gotta ask everybody. My constraints for you are, you can't do coaching and you can't do maid service. You can't coach business owners and you can't coach sports, let's say, because you already do those things. But if you wake up tomorrow and the world just exists without those things, like, there's poof, gone. There's not even things that happen. But you got to go do something to earn an income, to keep yourself busy. What would you go do tomorrow if that was the world?
I can't do any coaching, or I just can't coach business owners.
Hey, it's your answer, so you get to.
You gave me constraints.
I gave you constraints. I just said no coaching, and I figured like sports coaching would be out because you already kind of do that.
I would probably, in some capacity, coach people through health crisis journeys.
Yeah.
That's probably what I would do.
I mean, you said you're in remission. Do you, and I'm like getting personal here with you, so you can tell me to go F off. Do you feel like you made the right decision to go like the homeopathic route on it? I don't even know if that's the right word, but like the natural route on it. My brother's an oncologist, so he's like the exact opposite. He does the radiology stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about it. I just hear what he tells me. But do you, like, obviously, if your wife is going down the same path, you guys must have felt like you had some success with it. And if you're in remission, you must have felt like you had success with it. How has that journey gone for you? And is it something where you would be like recommend it 10 out of 10 to everybody? How do you feel about it?
Well, like you said, I mean, I'm in remission, so you can't argue with the result. So the result speaks for itself. I don't recommend anything to anybody when it comes to their health. I just share my experience, right? Because we're all different. And not everybody, if I'm being honest, not everybody is cut out to heal that way, because what the difference is, I'm completely responsible, right? I had a protocol and it was daunting. I mean, it took up, just my daily protocol took probably 6 hours a day. And not everybody is cut out to make the life changes that I made and have the discipline that I went through and to do all those things for 4 years. That's not everybody's cup of tea. And so others may not have the same success that I have. So I never recommend anything, but my experience was 100% positive. You know, I watched my dad go through brain cancer and ultimately pass. My father-in-law go through brain cancer and ultimately pass. And the thing that I noticed about both of them is the treatments themselves made them sick, deathly ill.
Like it kills you as much as the cancer does to try to kill the cancer.
And ultimately, some people have success with that. They didn't. And I just knew that wasn't for me. To me, it logically didn't jive. Like, okay, if I'm trying to repair my body, why would I destroy all the terrain in my body? That didn't make sense. It's not just common sense doesn't jive. That doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And so I didn't go that way. And so for me, what I noticed was, I mean, I made tons of lifestyle changes, but from like 3 months in, dude, I never felt better. I never felt healthier. I never felt stronger. My energy levels are through the roof. Complete spiritual awakenings. I mean, it was an amazing experience.
What do you mind me asking? What in that like 6-hour daily routine, what were some of the high hitters? Like what was it wrapped around? What were you doing?
Well, for one, you have to learn how to cook and prepare food, because now you're eating real food, not packaged. Like nothing I ate for 4 years, nothing came in a can, nothing came in a
pure
package.
Whole food.
Right. Didn't come in a box, none of that. Drank 64 ounces of juice every day that you got to make.
My wife did just buy a juicer. Do you have a favorite juice?
Oh, dude. I do. For this time of year, I'm a big fan of watermelon, mint, lime, and throw a cucumber in there. It's a nice little summer cocktail.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So that's just the stuff on the home front. And then I was in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber every day. I was getting huge 100-gram bag IVs of vitamin C 3 times a week. And that's like a 4-hour drip. And then I would, and just stuff like that all day long.
Is there any other way to get that much vitamin C, or is that like the only way you can slam that much into your system?
To my knowledge, that's the only way, and you have to work up to that. Like if you went in tomorrow, well, they wouldn't give it to you. But if you went in and said, "Give me 100 grams of," you would be so sick. I'm
gonna eat 3 bags of oranges right now.
But yeah, that was my whole day, was doing stuff like that. Infrared sauna, colonics, which was an interesting experience that I'd never been through. But ultimately, you've got to purge your body, detox your body of all the crap that's in it, the poison that's in it, and then flood it with nutrients and all the stuff that's going to heal it. And that takes time.
Is there any of it? Do you still do that, like, or a portion of that every single day?
Some of it.
What sticks? Like, do you still do the infrared stuff?
But now we have one. Now we have one in our house. But yeah, we still do that 4 times a week. I still do hyperbaric chamber, not anywhere near as much. I still do IVs, but I only do them once a month. I still take a ton of the supplements that I took. I still get lymphatic massages, which are not like the kind of massage you get at a spa. They're freaking painful. They're painful.
Ass kicking. Yeah.
So that I still do those things.
Yeah.
And I still eat pretty much the same way.
My wife has been on a health kick lately. She has a meal plan thing, and she's getting up early and like lifting weights. I think she's trying to kick my ass is actually what it is. Like she's ripped. And it's sexy. Like she looks really good, but I'm pretty sure she's just trying to kick my asses. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. But it is and like I love to work out. I exercise a lot, so I'm not naive to it. But man, when you're like treating your body right, my catalyst, my downside is just the beers. The light beers always get me. But when you're eating whole foods, and I eat a ton of venison. Like I shot 8 deer last year. We got 4 chest freezers. So like we're always making our own stuff. And man, when you're on that like whole food kick and just meat, like protein, vegetables, and juices and stuff like that, dude, you feel damn bionic. Like you said, after what did you say, like 3 months, and you felt you had like more energy. It's
insane.
it's real shit. Like your body like wants real food. It's crazy. Like what are the chances of that? They want real stuff.
You compare it to the stuff that most of us eat, or that I used to eat it all the time. You look at the packaging, it's not even really food.
Yeah,
and over time,
you can't pronounce.
Right. Over time, it brings our energy levels down, and we're like, God, why am I always so tired? So we go grab a coffee, and then a mid-afternoon coffee, and all these like hacks to give us energy. You don't even notice that over time, it's just because you've been doing all these things, and you take them away and you add in that stuff. Doesn't take that long. You feel like a whole different person.
Yeah. Especially if you're going to be a business owner, like energy is key. It's quite the
requirement.
It's quite the thing. You need it. Eric, any last thoughts, any closing comments before we close this out? Any things to leave the audience with?
I've got no pearls of wisdom to leave them with. I really enjoyed chatting with you though, man. It was it's crazy when we saw each other at CBF Live. We've always kind of circled around each other and been in the same circles and never really connected. So I'm glad that we did.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, I literally had your name written down in my notebook. I was like, damn it, I gotta like make sure when I'm at CBF, I gotta get Eric. We got to do a podcast together. So you've been on my hit list. I was like, I gotta hang out with this guy a little bit more and get to know him and BS with him. So
glad appreciate we can make it happen.
I was gonna say, like, it just all came together. I appreciate you hanging out and hanging along here. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Anytime. Enjoy your summer off. Good luck to your wife going through her process, and good luck to you with the remission and everything with that and the business. Keep it rolling. Enjoy the buy and hold.
Yeah. Appreciate you, man. Go get those kids to bed.
Yeah, they're probably still up. They're probably down in the kitchen eating more sugar is what's probably happening right now.
You know it. You know where to find them.
I'm sure they are. All right, man. Good chat with you. Business nerds, you guys know what to do. Work smarter and harder. Go earn some pride. Good night, y'all.
See you, bud.
See ya.